It's easy to tag related documents consistently when you use Axcelerate Review in Context. Let's take a look at the workflow. On the Assignments page, open the Actions menu for a review batch and select Review in Context. The batch opens in a new browser window. The left side panel displays documents in card view. Each card represents one document. Documents are grouped in this list based on their document relationships. Parent documents are followed by their attachments, and all members of email threads are grouped together. Each of these groups are separated by a bold line, so it's easier to understand the document relationships. Let's look at the first group in this batch. Here, we have an end-of-branch email, followed by its attachments, which are 2 Word documents and 1 PowerPoint. We can tell by the way these documents are grouped that the email is not part of a thread and it is the end of branch. The metadata shown for a document is specifically based on its MIME type. This means, for instance, that the fields you see for an email will not be the same fields you see for a Word document. Also notice that metadata only displays for the documents in the group we are currently viewing. The cards of the next groups are collapsed. The tagging panel on the right side of the screen provides a hint that we have not yet viewed all of the documents in this group. Rather than tag each document as we view it, we will view each document in the group and then tag the entire group at once. If any documents in a group require special tagging, we can apply and save tags to those documents individually and still tag any remaining untagged documents as a group. To move to the next document, we click View Next in the tagging panel. We're now looking at the first attachment to the email. We find that this attachment doesn't change the not responsive call we were planning to make on the family, so we move on to the next document. We click View Next again. Again, this attachment is not responsive, so we click View Next one more time. Notice the red text showing up in the metadata for this PowerPoint. If an Office file has any Office flags, such as speaker notes or hidden columns and rows, this will be indicated in red, so you can further examine the document. After reviewing this email and its attachments, we have decided to apply the not responsive tag. Since we have looked at all 4 members of the family, the Apply Same Tags to all other 3 unreviewed members of the review group becomes available. We leave it selected and click Save and Next to move on to the next family. Here we see an email with a single attachment. Based on its metadata icon, the attachment appears to be a text file. Let's take a look at the attachment before we make a call on this family, since the parent email does not give us much information. We'll use View Next in the tagging panel to move on to that attachment. Now that we have selected the attachment, we notice that it is a duplicate of a document attached to the email in the next 2 groups. We can tell this by the blue duplicate flag that appears on those attachments. Duplicates that are contained in this review batch stay with their parent documents unless they are standalone documents. This means we may not immediately be able to tell a document has duplicates because those files may be further down in the document list. We could scroll up and down the list to look for the blue duplicate flag. However, there's an easier way to tell. We look at the tagging panel. Here, we are alerted that there are 2 unreviewed duplicates for this document. We could use this indicator to tag our current document and its duplicates. However, if the duplicates will be tagged to match their parent emails, it is more efficient to continue review of the entire set. We've now viewed each member of this group and we're ready to tag the documents. We apply our tags in the tagging panel. And it's easy to apply these same tags to all members of this group because by default, the tagging panel provides that option. Let's save our tags. Now that we've saved our tags, notice the eye icon changed to a check mark. This means the documents are now tagged with the target review state of our current batch. The cards for the documents are white, which indicates that they are tagged not responsive. Now let's take a look at this group. This group is also an email with attachments. It consists of one email with 3 attachments. We'll move through this group viewing each document. Let's move to the first attachment. The attachment is also a PowerPoint with speaker notes, which is not yet tagged with the target review state of our batch. The next attachment is a Word document, and we see that it also has office flags that are highlighted in red. The last attachment is a duplicate of that memo we looked at previously. Since we know that this group is not responsive, and this duplicate is not responsive, we are confident that we can now apply the same tag to the unreviewed duplicate in our batch, so we select that option. And then we choose Not Responsive. As before, the Apply Same Tags to All Other Unreviewed Members of the Review Group is auto-selected. Let's save our tags and move to the next group. All members of that group now have the checkmark in Card View. Our next document group is an email with 1 attachment. The email was sent to 159 people. Let's take a look at the attachment using the View Next button in the tagging panel. We can tell by looking at the attachment that this family is responsive, and it contains some confidential content, so we're going to mark it for redaction by clicking the Mark for Redaction button in the Viewer panel header. Again, we leave the Apply Same Tags to All Other Unreviewed Members of the Review Group selected, as we would like to tag both members, and we click Save and Next. Both members of that group now have the check mark to indicate they are tagged with the target review state of our batch. We can also tell that we marked one of the documents for redaction because the card is now blue. We can also tell that the other document is responsive because its card is green. Colors are applied in order of importance. This means, for example, that a document which is tagged both responsive and attorney-client privileged will have an orange card. Similarly, you will only see a green card when a document is tagged responsive, but it is not also tagged with a privilege value, nor is it marked for redaction. We are on our last document group. This document is an email with several attachments, as well as an included email with attachments. Notice all of the office flags highlighted in red, as well as the new included email icon that we haven't seen before. Let's start clicking through the group. We can tell right away that this likely isn't a responsive document, but we'll click through every document before we make that call. As it turns out, this document is responsive, and it is also attorney-client privileged. As we click through, we see that there's also some confidential information that needs to be redacted, so we'll mark this attachment for redaction and click through the remaining documents to ensure that there is no additional confidential text that needs to be redacted. We've determined that this group is in fact responsive and it's also privileged. So let's go ahead and mark it as such. When we click Save, we see that the cards for the group have now turned orange to indicate that this group is marked for privilege. Our review of this batch for today is complete. To exit review in context, we simply close our browser window.